Stress physiology, the real cause, symptoms, and management of acid reflux that we misunderstood. Hi, everyone. This is Real Easy Med Terms. In this session, we will learn about stress physiology, the real cause, symptoms, and management of acid reflux that we misunderstood. Chapter 4. The importance of pH in digestion process, and Chapter 5. Why chyme do not go down to the small intestine, factors in the stomach, and Chapter 6. Why chyme do not go down to the small intestine, factors in the small intestine. Chapter 4. The importance of pH in digestion process. Reflux means to flow backwards. Ingested foods must travel along the oral cavity, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine. If any one of these pathways is blocked, the foods cannot move from the upper part to the lower part, causing reflux. In order to know where this long digestive system is blocked and why it causes reflux, you first need to know about the normal digestive process. Digestion of foods begins with the mouth. While chewing foods, amylase, an enzyme that can digest carbohydrates, is secreted from the salivary glands. Amylase is most active when the pH is 6.7 to 7.0. Since the foods we eat are usually acidic, when they come in contact with alkaline saliva, they become neutral, creating an environment where carbohydrates are easily broken down. As foods enter the stomach, stomach acid begins to be secreted. The pH of stomach acid is about 1.8, which is strongly acidic. When the pH is lowered due to stomach acid, the digestion of carbohydrates is slowed and the initial digestion of proteins begins. Pepsin, a protein-digesting enzyme secreted from the stomach, is most active at pH 2.0. Stomach acid is diluted with foods and finally becomes a strong acid with a pH of 3.0. When food is broken down by the peristaltic movement of the stomach wall and mixed with stomach acid, chyme is produced. The small intestine's digestion begins when this chyme goes down to the small intestine little by little. Most of the digestion of carbohydrates, proteins and fats occurs in the small intestine. The pH of the pancreatic juice, bile, and small intestine juice secreted from the small intestine is 8.0 to 8.5, which is much stronger than saliva, but because chyme is strongly acidic, it becomes neutral from weak acid when they are mixed. But, if the acidity of the chyme is not sufficiently neutralized due to excess gastric acid or decreased secretion of digestive juices in the small intestine, and it remains strongly acidic, digestion in the small intestine is delayed and indigestion occurs. Chapter 5. Why chyme do not go down to the small intestine, factors in the stomach. The process of food entering the stomach from the mouth through the esophagus is simple. Just chew and swallow. Unless you feel nauseous or your esophagus is clogged, foods can generally move smoothly from mouth to stomach. However, in order for the chyme made in the stomach to pass to the next process, the small intestine, several conditions must be satisfied. When the chyme does not pass smoothly from the stomach to the small intestine, this is called delayed gastric emptying. Factors that affect gastric emptying are divided into factors in the stomach and factors in the small intestine. The foods that enter the stomach should be broken down into small particles with a size of 1 to 2 mm and mixed sufficiently with gastric juice to become chyme-like porridge. If the size of food particles is too large or the concentration of chyme is too thick due to insufficient gastric movement or insufficient secretion of gastric juice, it cannot go down to the small intestine. This is because the digestion process in the stomach is less complete. By the way, it is the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems that control gastric motility and the amount of gastric juice. The sympathetic nervous system is activated when stress triggers a fight-flight-freeze response in the body. Painful emotions such as anger, sadness, or fear that cannot find an exit become a stress, and the stress stimulates the sympathetic nervous system. As a result, blood vessels to the digestive system constrict, reducing the amount of blood supplied to the digestive system. As the amount of blood to the digestive system decreases, the supply of oxygen, nutrients, and water through the blood decreases, so the energy-deficient digestive system becomes lethargic, lowering peristalsis and reducing digestive gland secretion. On the other hand, tolerable anger rather boosts your motivation, and once you have the will, you are no longer afraid of stress. Then, blood flow to the digestive system is restored, and the digestive system becomes active and the stomach emptying time is shortened. So, when you are angry, you suddenly have an appetite and your digestion is good. In addition, when peace comes after the crisis, the rest-digest-breed reaction controlled by the parasympathetic nervous system takes place, expanding blood vessels to the digestive system, facilitating blood supply and restoring the digestive motility and secretion ability to normal. Therefore, for good digestion, it is necessary to calm the excitement of the sympathetic nervous system and activate the parasympathetic nervous system. Chapter 6. Why chyme do not go down to the small intestine, factors in the small intestine. The sympathetic nervous system works to suppress the overall digestive system. Thus, when the fight-flight-freeze reaction occurs, not only the stomach but also the motility and secretory capacity of the small intestine are suppressed, and the secretion of pancreatic juice or bile is reduced. When the secretion of alkaline pancreatic juice, bile, and small intestine juice is decreased, acidic chyme cannot be neutralized in the small intestine, so the activity of digestive enzymes is slowed, and the digestion of carbohydrates, proteins and fats in the small intestine is delayed. The undigested chyme cannot go down to the lower intestine and stays at the entrance of the small intestine, causing traffic congestion, and the stagnation at the entrance of the small intestine causes a series of stomach congestion, so the acidic chyme stays in the stomach. If the stomach is pressed by changes in posture or abdominal pressure, the stomach has to send the contents out to reduce pressure, but it cannot be sent down due to congestion in the small intestine, so it has no choice but to send them up to the esophagus. As a result, acid reflux occurs and the lower part of the esophageal mucosa is invaded by strong acid, resulting in gastroesophageal reflux disease. In this lesson, we learned that if the digestive juices secreted from the small intestine do not neutralize the acidic chyme sufficiently, indigestion of the small intestine occurs and the contents of the stomach are stagnant, which is easy to cause acid reflux. In the next lesson, we will learn about the difference between the esophageal mucosa and the gastric mucosa. We will also learn why gastric acid pH is lowered and gastric acid secretion is increased. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. This is Real Easy Med Terms. Have a great day. See you again.